Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara and today we're going to be looking at the Virgo moon. So very excited to be getting into this particular placement. This video is for you if your moon sign is in the sign of Virgo. If you're a cross watcher, welcome as well. The moon sign inner natal chart is all about our inner world. It's all about who we truly are deep down inside. It's how we operate on an emotional level. Sometimes it deals with the mother, not sometimes. It actually does deal with the mother. What I meant to say is sometimes it also deals with our past lives. So for you guys, Virgo moon, something that people don't expect with you guys is you guys are highly psychic. So what tends to happen with a lot of these moon signs and signs in general is that you have to learn from your opposition. And that's kind of what happens throughout your life. So your opposition is Pisces. Pisces is all about the imaginary world. It's all about the dreamy world. It's all about the other realms, and it's all about psychic dreams and visions. What's great about the Virgo moon is you guys are an earth sign, so you guys are able to take those dreams and visions and actually ground them into this physical plane. So that's really what happens with the Virgo moon. You're able to have an idea, think about how you're going to go about actually executing it in this physical reality that we're currently living in. It's different than, let's say, a Pisces moon, where Pisces moon might get lost, okay? They're probably going to get lost in the ideas, and it's also illusions and sometimes delusions, right, with the Pisces energy. So for you guys, earth sign, able to take all of that in, ground it into this physical plane. Wonderful placement to have, very grounded, very caring, very nurturing. The Virgo sign in general is all about the service to others, okay? So being of service. It's also all about health and healing. So as usual, what tends to happen is every sign has its light side and its dark side. So for you guys, a shadow aspect could be that you guys are worried about health, okay? You guys can become very particular in things like, what happens with Virgo energy is like you guys find one thing that you like and one thing that works, and you're always going to do that thing. So it's going to be things like going to the restaurant and always ordering the same meal, or having a song that you're obsessed with and listening to that song for like a month straight. Very Virgo like energy. But it can also be things like diets, right? So Virgo energy, because you guys are all about, again, health and healing, and really like not just physical appearance, it's just like more so on a health level. If you guys find some sort of diet that works for you, you guys are going to stick to that diet and you're only going to do that diet. So it's like Virgo energy is very much like it's positive in the sense where it's like practice makes perfect. So you guys are very good at, sticking to a plan, figuring out a plan, and actually going through that plan until the end. Because on the earth plane, that's how we get things, right? It's all about repetitive behavior. It's all about practicing something and getting to the end result, right? So Virgo is very good at that, but sometimes you guys go into the shadow aspect where it's like every single thing, you're just like constantly doing that thing, right? So what you guys can do to break up the energies, especially if you guys are like focused on manifestation and all these sorts of things, is to do different things and to switch up the vibes, you know? So it's like if you guys have one thing that you're focused on, or one thing that you're obsessed with, or one thing that you guys are constantly doing, switch up the energies, try to do something different, because when we do switch up the vibes, that's when new opportunities and things come through for us. Another thing with the Virgo energy is like you guys are very much, again, about routine. Virgo energy is all about the physical plane in that sense, because the physical plane, like I mentioned, is all about routine. So you guys are very good at, again, having a routine, but you guys might get too rigid in that routine. So it could be things like, my Monday looks like this, my Tuesday looks like this, my Friday looks like this. Let's say one of your friends or family members or whoever wants to do something different. You guys have a hard time because you guys struggle with doing something different because it's like your routine just works for you, right? You guys are very organized. You guys can be critical too, actually. So that's another shadow aspect of Virgo, is like, especially the Virgo moon, it's like you guys can be critical of the world around you, but your biggest critic is you within yourself. So there's always this energy, especially with the Virgo moon, because it's on an emotional level where you guys feel like you're not enough, or something that you've done is not enough. So with you guys, it's kind of like you're always on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. Like, let's say you have a goal and you achieve that goal, it's never going to be quite like you had envisioned it to be. This is, again, because of that Piscean energy that you guys bounce off of. When we do envision something in our minds and in our imaginations, it's so high vibrational, right? When we bring it down and anchor it into the earth plane, it's never going to be how we had envisioned, right? At least for now, for the physical plane that we're living in. So that's what happens with you guys. So there could be like a disappointment, and then you guys kind of move on to the next thing. So it's like you get it, you're like, oh, it's not like what I had envisioned, and then you guys move on to the next thing. It's different than Piscean energy, because Pisces kind of I don't want to say basks, but like Pisces kind of stays in the energy of disappointment, okay, because they overly romanticize things. For you guys, it's kind of like, okay, what's the next thing to do? Or it could be things like doing constant renovations, like things of this sort. Really is like very much Virgo energy, or it's like that critical energy. And it's like, this might come through if you guys fall into the shadow. You guys could be critical of partners or family members or friends, whatever, work employees, however it manifests. So really, really important to just be wary of this energy. This is why astrology is good, because we're able to see what sort of energies we incarnate into having and how we can actually balance that energy. So for you guys, really important to balance this energy out. Maybe just like catch yourselves before you do this. And same thing, like don't be so hard on yourselves. That's a huge thing to understand, especially with like Virgo energy in general. It's like, you guys tend to be extremely, incredibly hard on yourselves. And it's always like, there's almost like this lingering feeling with Virgo energy where it's not like you guys are consciously thinking you're not good enough, but it's like, that's why you guys are constantly like doing something else or criticizing or doing these sorts of things when you're in the shadow aspects, because again, there's this energy of not enough. Okay. So it's like, you know, like I mentioned, something you created, it's not like you had envisioned all these sorts of things. Now, another thing with Virgo is you guys strive for like this level of perfection, and you guys really do want everything to be ideal. That's the Piscean energy you guys are bouncing off of, right? What tends to happen is you guys sometimes might have an idea and you never actually put it out there. So like, let's say things like these videos, right? Let's say you record a video, you like the video, you see one thing that's off, right? Maybe on the wall or whatever, you're gonna keep recording. And then sometimes it's eventually not even gonna end up being put out there because there's something that you guys don't like with it. That's like that, like very like attention to detail energy, okay? So that's another thing with you guys. So it's like, again, be wary of that. Not everything has to be perfect. You know, there could be blips here and there, right? But again, Virgo wants everything to be perfect. Now, another thing that I noticed with Virgo energy, Virgo moon, specifically even like in the big three, is you guys tend to be very much, what's the word? Very, you guys take care of your appearance really well. Okay. That's a huge thing with you guys. Okay. Sometimes you can fall into the shadow of vanity. Again, we have the light and the dark side, but people with like Virgo energy, Virgo moon specifically, you guys are going to know all the best things. Okay. Like all the best products, all these sort of things, anything with appearance, you guys always look put together. Okay. It could be things like, again, a slick bun, right? And where it's like everything is like in place. Every single button is in place. Everything, you guys are very well put together, okay? Especially when you're presenting yourselves out into the world, because again, there's that energy of organization, being put together. You guys can be very clean, okay? You're very, very clean. In terms of your home, everything is organized. Everything has its place. You guys know where everything belongs. Very much Virgo energy, okay? Another thing with you guys, so because you guys are natural healers, again, you bounce off of Pisces in that way, you guys might attract people into your life that siphon your energy. So what tends to happen with the Virgo energy and Virgo moon specifically, it's like you guys are very much about, like you guys have huge hearts in that sense where it's like you guys want to care about everybody, you guys take care of everybody in that sense, and it's like a lot of the time what happens is it's at your expense. Okay, so this is what might happen. It's like you guys are of service to everybody, you're taking care of everybody, but it's like you're not taking care of yourselves in that sense. Okay, so it's like really making sure that you fill your own cup first. Okay, that's a huge thing to understand with the Virgo moon. It's like Virgo energy, again, because you bounce off of Pisces, is like you guys feel like on like a soul level, because it's in the moon, on an emotional level, you guys need to help. You guys need to serve. So in this way, you guys might attract people into your life that need help, okay, or constant help, or like even in relationships or friendships, you guys might kind of feel like, you know, you're constantly attracting people where it's like they need something from you and it's not equal in that way. So really important not to fall into the servant shadow, okay? So we would call this the servant shadow, where it's like you're constantly being of service to everybody, but it's like you're not filling your own cup, okay? So really important to understand that with the Virgo energy, because again, you guys are very much about service. You guys care about people around you. A lot of the time, people who have Virgo placements, you might notice them in industries like anything to do with health and healing. So you guys could be interested in like the traditional way, where it's like doctors, nurses especially, right? Because nurses are very nurturing in that way. Or you can go into the alternative route. So it could be things like Reiki, or it could be things like alternative medicine or shamanism, these sorts of things. But it's like you guys are going to find yourselves a lot of the time wanting to be of service, wanting to help people and all these sorts of things. But again, important not to fall into the shadow of that, where it's like you're burnt out, because it's not an equal energy exchange. That's really how we get burnt out, where it's like you're putting in your time, you're putting in your energy, and it's not being reciprocated in any way, shape, or form. So important to take time to yourselves, to somehow fit self-care into your routine. It's coming through even to mention baths, okay? Epsom salt baths, really important to cleanse your energy, because again, Virgo, you guys are Virgo moon, specifically on an emotional level, on a soul level. You guys want to help people and you're healers, okay? A lot of you guys are very much healers and you're in that healing energy. So it's really, really important not to allow people to siphon that, okay? Because sometimes people see an open door and they think, you know, they're welcome anytime, which most of the time they are with Virgo energy, but sometimes it's like, you guys really need to work on those boundaries. So that's another thing I would suggest to the Virgo moon. And for you guys also, definitely self-care is really, really important. Somehow fitting into your routine, something to do with the self, right? So that can be different for different people. It could just be exercise. It can be spending time in nature, baths, like I mentioned, journaling, these sorts of things, okay? But overall, you guys are very clear and very level-headed, okay? Because Virgo deals with the planet Mercury. So the thing is, Mercury rules Gemini, but it also rules Virgo, okay? So Gemini is more so like the day-to-day stuff. Virgo is going to be the hyper-analytical mind, okay? So it's like sometimes your thoughts can be going like a mile a minute, okay? So, you know, there could be like so many like thoughts that you guys are having, and you guys could be like really prone to overthinking as well. Again, it kind of ties into like even the overly critical energy and all these sorts of things. So really important to find an outlet for that, okay? So a lot of the time it can be things like writing it out, okay, to get it out of your head, okay, is really, really important, because otherwise you guys can be prone to overthinking. Okay, this could be a huge thing for you guys. So that's really another thing. And what's also coming through to mention is like, so with Virgo energy, what tends to happen with you guys is like, okay, so within the entire zodiac wheel, Virgo is the only like symbol that's a female, first of all, so feminine energy. And it's also all about purity, right? So there's even that energy that's going on with you guys. So it's like, again, female energy, or feminine energy rather, is all about healing, caring, nurturing, being intuitive, being psychic, right? So again, sometimes you guys might feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders in this way. And again, because you're about the earth plane, it's not going to be so much like you guys are looking to help in like a psychic way, not like directly in that way. You guys can channel that psychic energy in a different way. So you guys are gonna be actually out there in the world in industries that are like healthcare and these sorts of things where you guys might get burnt out, right? But again, it can manifest differently. I mean, you know, that's not to say that you can't be like a lawyer and also be, you know, have Virgo placements in there, because a lot of people, again, if it's in a way of helping and being of service, you're going to have Virgo placements in there, specifically the Virgo one, because this is on an emotional level. Now, for you guys, the types of mother, so what tends to happen is like a soul on a soul level has a certain type of mother that they desire, okay, before they incarnate into the earth plane. So for you guys on a soul level, you basically were looking for a mother that's going to allow you guys to express yourselves creatively, allow you guys to be open, to be free, to be able to, you know, again, express these thoughts that you have. And what tends to happen, we get the exact opposite of that, okay? So you guys may have incarnated to having a mother that, again, was very cold, shut off, made you feel like you're not good enough, okay, because that's probably how like that energy within you actually builds up, or just like held you to very high standards. It could have been like a mother that was an overachiever herself, or their lack of, or even let's say like the roles were reversed within the dynamics. So let's say the mother took on the father role, the father took on the mother role, or however, maybe there was a lack of a mother, right? You would have to explore all of these avenues to see how it could have affected you on an emotional level. But there's always some sort of energy for the Virgo moon where like the mother keeps the child to like a high standard. So it could be things like in school, wanting you to be the best student, or like wanting you to be the best, I don't know, I'm seeing like piano player, right? However this might manifest, like it does tend to manifest for the Virgo moon, because then that's how you develop that inner voice where you're overly critical of yourself. That's the thing with Virgo moon. It's like what people don't realize is like you guys tend to like seem like you're only critical of the world around you, but you're mainly critical of yourselves. And that's because of the fact that you guys are always chasing perfection. And it's like one of the main things to understand for Virgo moon specifically, any Virgo placements, is like that you're never going to be able to achieve that level of perfection because it doesn't exist on the earth plane. Like there's always going to be things that are not perfect, okay? It's just the way that it is. So it's a hard lesson that you guys do learn throughout your life, but it is something that it's the energy you incarnated into having. And it's basically like what you're learning on a soul level is that nothing is perfect. You can still put ideas out there, thoughts out there, without the fear of it not appearing ideal, right? Because the thing is, like I mentioned earlier, you guys, you know, what tends to happen is like you guys don't even put things out there because of the fear that it's not perfect. It's not ideal. It's not that thing that you had quite envisioned it to look like. And it's like, if you guys are in that waiting energy, nothing's ever going to get put out there. So another thing that's important to understand. So past lives for the Virgo moon could be anything that's Virgo-like. So it could be things like you guys were a doctor, a healer. You guys could have been a servant. Okay, there's that servant shadow taking place. You guys could have been, like I mentioned, Reiki, shaman, all these sorts of things. If you guys went more into like the alternative healing route. But yeah, a lot of the time it's anything to do with health, healing, and service. Could have been some sort of past life that you guys had. So I'm going to wrap up this video here. Hope you guys did enjoy my video on the Virgo moon. If you did, let me know in the comments below, and please do like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.